here today to discuss about the Random Wrestling Talk episode number 9. Um, we are going to discuss some things about Stone Cold Steve Austin and so forth. I think I'm having technical difficulties. Um, Possibly. Anyway, we are talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin today. Some news about Cody Rhodes. They don't know what's going on with Cody, whether or not he's staying with WWE or he's going back to AEW. I'm going to go into that with you guys today. There is rumors going around that he may be facing Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. We have no idea. It is a complete mystery when it comes to Cody Rhodes. But the one thing that we are not surprised by is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin has decided not to wrestle for Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 38. As we already know from Monday Night Raw's episode last night, they have made an announcement that it will be just a one-on-one confrontation with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens. So that's all we're getting out of this, with a little physical altercation taking place in all this. So nothing really special is going to take place for that. I am thankful of that, number one, because of the fact that we won't be seeing Steve Austin throw away his legacy. I think the last match that we should remember him by is a match with The Rock at WrestleMania 19. I think that's the ultimate way of ending one's career against the biggest rival he ever had in his career, which was Stone Cold, which was The Rock anyway. So I think that he made the right decision by not staying or not going with the idea of actually competing at WrestleMania. So I am very happy for him making that decision because it would have ruined his legacy. Rachel Buck made quite a few comments in the chat while she was waiting for me to come on, so I'll go ahead and read these comments that she made. I heard from Pro Wrestling Unlimited that on Monday night Raw, they are going to announce who Seth Rollins is going to face at WrestleMania, and Tim said it is the place where the home of WWE revival or rival. I think it will be Seth versus Cody Rhodes, and I will be happy he is in WWE because Seth versus Rhodes will be a way better match than Roman versus Brock and way better than Edge versus AJ Styles. Oh boy, that's kind of a Edge versus AJ Styles. I think that would be a very close comparison with Cody and Seth Rollins. I think that would be a big rival to each other's to each other. I think Seth Rollins and Cody versus Edge and AJ would be a very close mismatch, or not mismatch, but comparison between the two. So I think you might be a little bit wrong on that. Edge and AJ could squeak by with having a better match possibly. But yeah, I think Seth and Cody Rhodes would be a great match to have. I think they would do very well, and I think it would be better than Roman versus Brock Lesnar. Roman and Brock Lesnar really just have the story going into it, not really the overall performance of like work rate going into these matches that Brock and Roman Reigns have had. So yeah, I have to agree. I think Seth and Cody work rate rise would do a lot better than Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And also, she says, think about that. What company is home is Jacksonville, Florida? Yeah, AEW. I get that. She also goes on to say, Brian Alvarez stated today, you're going to find out Seth's opponent next week. It's not hard to figure it out. It is because where WWE Raw is next week. And also his game show is having its season finale this Thursday. And remember what he said about leaving the territory. Okay. All right. So there you go. Met87 Eagle said, "Give me a hell yeah if you're hyped for Stone Cold burying KO instead of wrestling. Sucks for Kevin Owens. I agree. Hell yeah." The Elemester states AEW Revolution was great. I have to agree with you, sir. It was a very, very good show. My only beef with it, and I've already stated this to Black Hats, I believe it was. I stated that the pay-per-view was, or actually Christopher Carter, excuse me. I think I stated this to Christopher Carter. The show was very good, but my only beef, it's way too long. I think 3 hours would be good. 5 to 6 matches would be fine. And you give us like 20 to 30 minutes each of every match that's on the card. That would be fine with me. Alamester also liked the Wardlow finally turning face. I agree with you, but I kind of think that they should have went with the idea of having Wardlow stay with MJF without them bickering and arguing with each other at all. I think they did this prematurely. I think Wardlow should have been under the Pinnacle's actual thing under their faction so that he could get some momentum with his gimmick. But I don't think it's going to harm him in any way. I think winning the TNT Championship is the next step for him. Him and MJF competing over the TNT Championship would be a good idea just for the time being, since MJF is out of the picture with the world title after his loss to CM Punk this past pay-per-view. So I think it makes sense. It's just gonna have to take some time and see how things go. But we'll definitely take some time to see how things go, and hopefully Wardlow's run as a individual wrestler turns out to be an okay run. Rachel Buck asked me, "What do you think of WWE 2K22?" The graphics look great. The entrances look really good. The championship belts you can actually see as they walk down the aisle. So I really think that is pretty cool. The gameplay I'm not too familiar with because I have yet to buy the game yet. I'm going to wait until either the price drops or I get to hear what the overall consensus is about the gameplay itself, how the the controllers, how the controllers work, how people are enjoying it. Do they find it entertaining? Do they like it, or do they find it to be rather a waste of money? Excuse me. And if I hear a lot of grumblings going on, like I did with WWE 2K20, unfortunately, I was not smart enough to stay away from that. But I did get it for a really good deal. I got it for like $29.99, so I didn't waste a lot of money on it. So basically, my attitude is I'm not going to get it until I really get an idea of the overall feelings of the gameplay. I'm going to see how the gameplay looks when people are playing it online with the universe mode off of YouTube and see how that goes. If things look good and I am impressed with it, I will definitely move forward, but I haven't had a whole lot of time to be able to view the gameplay and hear what people's attitudes are towards the game itself. I'm pretty sure it should be all right. The grappling, I kind of saw that, didn't really like it so much. Like the Irish whip, you have to go into an actual grappling hold and then press the button that Irish whips the opponent to the ropes or to a turnbuckle. I'm not too high on that, but we'll get into something else that I found out that was very interesting. WWE is actually planning, after their contract is up with 2K, to move over to EA Sports. And I gotta say, guys, EA Sports is a terrible fucking game producer of games. I mean, I do get the Madden games a lot. I won't deny that. My experience with Madden hasn't been anything what people have shown on TV or on their YouTube channel. Excuse me for a minute. But yeah, personally I didn't I don't think much of EA. I mean, EA Sports has done an okay job for me personally. My own experience with EA with Madden has been pretty entertaining. I've enjoyed my time using it. I have seen a lot of glitches, but never encountered them when I play the game. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, I don't have that much problems with the game at all. But EA Sports with UFC this past year with UFC 4 has been absolutely dreadful, fucking terrible. I mean, personally, I can't even stand playing UFC 4, and I bought the damn game for $29.99. So I got it for the PS4 console, and it's just terrible. The entrances you get it one time if you happen to hit the skip skip that one entrance. It skips the entire thing, goes straight into the octagon. The referee says fight, and then you fight. And then if you move on to the next fight in your custom event, it just does the same thing. It just goes straight to the fight with the referee saying fight, and then your fight's on, and that's it. No introductions, no nothing. Humongous waste of time. UFC 3 is a far better made piece of uh, game. And I personally prefer UFC 3 over UFC 4. UFC 4 is just fucking awful as hell. And WWE being the way they are, God knows what the hell the game would turn out to be. Probably absolute shit, more than likely. Anyway, moving on. Matt 87 Eagles stated, so we got an idea of what roles William Regal will play in AEW on camera. He'll manage the new Moxley Danielson pairing. Off camera, he'll help mold young wrestlers better their talents. Well, yeah, he's pretty much going to do what he did in NXT, which is what Matt 87 Eagles states afterwards. So yeah, I think that's the right decision. I think him doing that role is the smart thing to do. I think him being a manager would be okay. I think him being a manager to a young superstar on their roster would be more beneficial than him being a manager with Moxley and Danielson. But then again, I mean, they could always just bring in a young star into the group and have him, manage him anyway, and that's pretty much that. So it's not a bad decision. I think what they are doing is smart. It should be entertaining, and we'll just see how things go. The Elemester states, "What if Wardlow challenges MJF for the Dynamite Diamond Ring?" I don't particularly care for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I think the Dynamite Diamond Ring solely belongs to MJF. It is more his weapon of choice, I guess you could say, as like the steel pipe that Scott Steiner used to use in WCW and the sledgehammer that Triple H used in WWE. That's basically kind of the mentality here I get from the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I don't think anyone's ever beating MJF for that prize. I think that solely belongs to him. But I would like to see Wardlow win the TNT Championship from Sammy Guevara. I don't think there's anything wrong with Sammy Guevara losing the title to Wardlow. I did find it sucky that Sammy Guevara lost the title to Cody Rhodes and then ultimately got it back later on. Why they did that move, I have no idea. I think that was a very terrible idea to begin with. Absolute trash. I just did not like it at all. I didn't think it was necessary. But hey, what are you going to do? So Matt 87 Eagle states, if Tony Khan makes ROH into a show, whether for developmental talents or not, would want TK to bring in would you want TK to bring in Samoa Joe as a trainer commentator instead of a wrestler? Yeah, I think him being a trainer would be the best thing for them to do. Commentator, I didn't particularly care for him as commentator. He was not bad, but he didn't bring, for me anyway, personally, I don't think he brought any kind of excitement to the table like a Murrow or an Allo. I even think Excalibur does a better job in bringing color commentary to a commentary team than Samoa Joe does. Training, though, wise, it would be very smart of them to use him as a trainer. He would do a lot of good things for their young talent. So yeah, basically I would use him as a trainer overall. So that's just my aspect on Samoa Joe and what would be best to utilize him for behind the scenes if he's not going to be a wrestler. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So let's go right into the commentary that was brought up about Cody Rhodes. A lot of people are saying that Cody is going to go to WWE. He's going to face Seth Rollins. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. I personally don't give a rat's ass what he does at this point. I think him having the kind of attitude he had by walking away because he didn't have more control creatively is ridiculous. He did not have the money to provide a wrestling promotion to a group of superstars to get off the ground. Tony Khan did. And with everyone within the group, between the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes, fighting over creative control and just kind of coming up with the idea of what direction the company should go, and everyone had a different mentality of how the promotion should have went. I personally, I think Tony Khan did the right thing by stepping in and actually saying, hey, look, I invested the money. I need to take control of the situation now at this point, since nobody is coming to an agreement on where we should go with the promotion, the vision of it. So I need to take full responsibility of this, because at the end of the day, he invested his money into this promotion. He can't do another Ted Turner type of move. When Eric Bischoff was struggling, Vince Russo was not doing his part either. He should have took the responsibility and reins of the company of WCW and got involved. But with him being where he was in life, I think because he was an owner of the Braves, he was making tons of money off of the Braves. He didn't really care if he actually won or not within all of this. I don't think that was his focal point. I think the Atlanta Braves was his focal point. He also has television stations like TNT, TBS. He owns these type of stations. Warner Brothers, I guess you could say, is something Ted Turner has. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not going to state something that I'm not 100% sure on, because I don't want to be incorrect about it. But personally, Ted Turner should have stepped into this situation back in the day. If he would have done something, we might still see WCW at this time, still giving us live television shows, but unfortunately, he did not. Eric Bischoff, he allowed the wrestlers to control the show. As you already know, Kevin Nash was a booker within WWE, or not WWE, WCW, and he actually took full control of everything, making himself get over while everyone else stayed beneath him. That was a big no-no. That should have never happened at all. I think that was taking place in the late 90s, early 2000s, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why the fuck he was doing something like that. And he wasn't looking to embrace new talent, embrace the younger stars, the smaller guys that actually were helping the ratings in most cases. If you look back on their years of being around and competing against WWE, their cruiserweight division was the focal point of their company, despite the fact the NWO is the main focal point of all their storylines going on. So, that's something that was troubling. I remember watching on the WWE Network back in 96, I believe it was, because I watched WCW from time to time in chronological order, the Nitro and Thunder episodes, because I never had a chance to ever watch those shows because I was always a WWE guy. During the Monday Night Wars, I would only watch Monday Night Raw. WCW Nitro, I was interested in it. I really enjoyed WCW, but I had no way of watching both. I couldn't record one show and then watch the other show live like we can do today. So I didn't have the capability of doing that, which kind of sucks. But then again, maybe that was a good thing because it really brought out competition and make people really want to watch their show over the other no matter what. So they had to pick their poison. Which show are you going to watch this Monday, So that's just my attitude on that and the way I felt about it. But I always felt that WWE had a far better, superior product than WCW at that time, simply because of the fact that even though WWE was getting their asses kicked in the Monday Night Wars, they were really putting a lot of effort in the shows, despite the fact they were losing all the time until 1998. Then it was kind of just back and forth all the time. And then by 99, they just got their ass kicked. But personally, yeah, I really think that AEW does that. AEW puts a lot of effort in their shows. They look for younger talent to push. And MJF is the sole new face in pro wrestling. This guy is going to flourish as a mega star. He ain't just going to be a professional wrestler. He is going to be a larger than life character for AEW. And they should give him the fucking world within due time. But yeah, this guy is definitely a superstar in the making that is going to override anything that Roman Reigns does. I personally feel at this point in time, I think Roman Reigns is second best heel while MJF is number one, despite the fact that MJF is still not the world champion yet. So call me crazy, but I think MJF's a better heel than fucking Roman Reigns. Even though Roman Reigns has done some of the best work he's ever done in his entire career. Daniel left a comment. He said, I hope Cody doesn't go to WWE. They're going to screw him over. No doubt about it. I totally agree with you, Daniel. I don't think they're going to give him anything but the royal stick up the ass. And that's going to be that with him. I think Cody is a very foolish human being to even consider going to WWE after the treatment he got, where he had to go on national television as a fucking Stardust character with paint all over his face and tell his father that he's not his father anymore. His father is dead. That was a really shitty thing for Vince McMahon to force Cody Rhodes to have to say that to his own man. Whether it's creative or not, I don't care. I would never say that to my own dad. I don't care if it's part of a fucking script or not. It is a fucking joke. Miami Heat fans said MJF needs to be AEW World Champion this year. I agree, but I think there might be some timetable issues with that. I think CM Punk, the belief is that, and I think this is the right way to go. I think that CM Punk winning the World Championship by Double or Nothing or All Out would be the best option. And then maybe waiting until Winter is coming. Maybe have MJF win the World Championship against CM Punk for the third match in a row that these two have had, and have MJF win the world title on either Full Gear or on Winter is Coming on a live Dynamite episode where people can see the title change actually happen on live television. So, I mean, the decision is totally up to them. But, yeah, I do see that MJF is going to win the world title very, very soon. I don't see it taking very much long for him to become world champion. Definitely. Matt87 Eagle, he says, did you hear Punk's thoughts on Khan buying ROH's media library. Yes, I've heard of that. I heard about it. I think it is very funny, actually, that his wrestling content in WWE, they don't pay him anything. They don't pay him a single dime for any of the work he did in the company, and they can use his image in their content, which is absolutely fucking crazy. Miami Heat fans says that the only match he cares about is the for WrestleMania 38 is Edge versus AJ Styles. Nobody else. Well, let me ask you, Miami Heat fans, if they have Cody versus Seth Rollins, don't you see that match as being kind of a competition to the AJ Styles Edge match? Because I certainly do. Rachel Buck actually mentioned that earlier in the chat, and I have to say that AJ Styles and Edge would be a great rival to Seth and Cody. The best storyline being built right now, sad but true, it's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar's match. Everyone else doesn't seem to fucking matter at all on this damn card. I mean, if you guys didn't go back and watch my parody of a stupid WrestleMania fan making a short, pretending to be a stupid fan and getting all excited over fucking a shitbag card like what we got and spend thousands of dollars, you got to be out of your fucking mind to do that. You got to be a complete moron. Me personally, I wouldn't waste my money on that shit. Miami Heat fan says Ronda is so boring. I agree. I think the reason why she's boring is because she's reading a script. I don't even think she's speaking her own words. I think they're force-feeding her these words to say, and she's reading them. She's not having a good time doing what she's doing. I really don't know why she came back in the first place, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I think what she's doing is a complete and utter waste of time for her. I think she should really focus on maybe getting back to UFC, possibly making a run and really legitimizing her name. And try to do a UFC fight. I guarantee you Dana White would take her back in a fucking heartbeat. But personally, I'm really not happy with her run in WWE right now. I think her run in WWE has been terrible. And I just don't care for it. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel on her. She's boring. There's nothing else more to say. She's not a terrible person or anything. She doesn't sound like she don't know what the hell she's talking about. She just doesn't put in any emphasis or passion into her promos. She might as well just not even talk. She might as well just wrestle and be done with it, But that's just the way I think about it. Anyway, let me get into this story about Cody Rhodes a little bit. According to a report F4W online, in what was thought to be a done deal a few weeks ago, is now said to be up in the air with Cody Rhodes' status with returning to the WWE. It was noted that things have apparently changed. The report states that creative plans had already been laid out for his return, but now something has caused uncertainty. Furthermore, it was said that WWE doesn't know what's going on with Cody Rhodes. This is based on, let me see here. This is WrestlingView.com is where this report's coming from. It's being said that apparently there has been some online discussions among fans that Cody and Brandy leaving AEW is an angle to have Cody run ROH, which Tony Khan has recently purchased. And this is what they're saying. My attitude, I would have to agree with this. I really do. I think that I think Cody ain't coming back. I don't think Cody is coming to I don't think Cody's going to WWE. I don't see anyone with a full functioning brain after what he was treated like in WWE to actually go back to a promotion that did not care about him. He requested, clearly, I remember the reports, he requested to stop doing the Stardust gimmick. He wanted to do something else. And Vince would not grant him that request. So at that point in time, they were trying to re-sign him, and he refused to sign. He decided to take a bet on himself and try the indies out and see how things go. Well, fortunate enough for him, he benefited from it. He was successful, had some matches against Kurt Angle and some indie promotions. He worked in Impact Wrestling for a short period of time. He had a match with Eddie Edwards, which was a really good match. And he went into Ring of Honor, and he also wrestled in New Japan Wrestling. He had some great matches in those two promotions. And, he was successful. He did a lot. And he really was kicking ass. Money-wise, he was doing okay for himself. And AEW came about, and he started making money with them. And bottom line, this is not about money. And I just saw Miami Heat fans states, if WWE offers Cody a lot of money, never say never. I disagree with you. I think that Tony Khan did not have any problem giving him the kind of money he was looking for. I don't believe this has anything to do with money. Tony Khan has more money than Vince McMahon. So that is how I feel on that. I think Tony Khan has got the money and the financial status to go neck for neck, money dollar for dollar with Vince McMahon to sign someone for a wrestling contract. So it's all based on your style and your preference on what promotion you would like to go to at that point, because both of them have money. There ain't no doubt about it. So this money is not an issue. Anybody can get the money. It's just based on how the promotion values you and how they see you as a legit thing to spend and invest their money on. So it all depends on how well they perceive you as a performer. And if they see you as worthy enough to fork out a lot of money, you got a great shot at any promotion you prefer to go to. Me, if I was a wrestler, I'd take AEW every single time, unless AEW was not willing to pay me a good amount of money compared to what WWE's paying me. Even then, I would probably consider not going because of how they conduct business backstage. So personally, I think that AEW, even if they are not giving you the kind of money you were hoping for, they give you the kind of freedom you're looking for. They also allow you to work for other promotions that are indie promotions so that you can make some extra cash and keep up with your financial expenses. So they're very understandable about that. So if you're not able to make the kind of money you're looking for within the company and you're not a high-end performer, they're going to allow you to go do what you want to do when they don't need you or they can't use you, specifically because of the fact they don't have anything for you at that point in time because they're so booked up with other performers. So I see AEW as a plus because not also do you get the option to work within AEW, you also get to work with smaller promotions and get your name thrown out there. So if you're a small guy and you're just trying to get out there for the first time, AEW is the best place for you, and you get to be at a big stage. So eventually, once you build up enough recognition under your name, they're going to start using you on Dynamite's Rampage, and also once in a blue moon, if you get big enough, even regular on a pay-per-view 4 times out of the year. So that's just one of the benefits of AEW. The only benefit about WWE is you got guaranteed money. They are willing to give you what they feel is right. And if, they'll give you the kind of money you're looking for if you're good enough, they value you enough to give you that money. So I don't know how anyone can really want to take WWE because of the fact they very much limit you on everything you do. It really is a terrible working environment. I would never go there, ever. unless you're at the top of the food chain, you're an Edge, a Goldberg, a Brock Lesnar, a Roman Reigns, even AJ Styles for that matter. I mean, you're getting the best treatment out of everybody. If you're a Ricochet, a fucking Matt Riddle, if you're Randy Orton, you're getting great treatment. But I mean, honestly, you're not gonna see a whole lot of benefit by being in WWE at all if you're starting out, or really popular in the indies, but you're just starting in WWE. So I don't know. I really wouldn't take I wouldn't take WWE over AEW at all if I was a wrestling performer. Let me go back to the comments here. A lot of comments are made in the chat while I was babbling. Miami Heat fans, WrestleMania 38, too many celebrity people over building new talent. Totally agree with you. That was actually one of the things I mentioned in my parody, pretending to be a stupid wrestling fan, is stating that the great card they have is filled with nothing but celebrities. I forgot to mention Johnny Knoxville. But I was doing this in a hurry, and I was doing this while I was on the job, by the way. I work from home since COVID started, and I was trying to cut this short video to be humorous because I know a lot of you guys enjoy those parodies I deliver, and you find them funny. So hopefully I did entertain you guys with that 2-minute skit. If not, well, I tried. Anyway, Daniel states, I heard it was good and it looks amazing. My favorite entrance from WWE 2K22 is the 4-man NWO entrance with Hogan, Nash, Hall, and Six. Yes, I have to agree with you, Daniel. That was actually a very good entrance. It looks very realistic the way they had it. It looked authentic towards the real thing back in the day. So yeah, I think it's an excellent. Like I said, the graphics look great. It's just the gameplay is what I'm concerned about. Sorry, guys, I got something in my eye. Anyway, Matt87 Eagle states, leaving WWE is the smartest decision in Cody's career, and if he goes back, it'll be the stupidest decision. Yeah, that's a no-brainer, Matt. Miami Heat fan states, can WrestleMania top AEW Revolution 2002 or not? Oh, my God. Miami fans. Sorry, man. Miami Heat fans, I am sorry to tell you, but that question is not needed. We all know WrestleMania 38 cannot top AEW Revolution 2022. I'm sorry. Can it surpass Revolution 2021? Yes, I totally agree with that because Revolution 2021 last year was absolutely fucking terrible. That was probably one of the worst AEW pay-per-views I've ever seen in my life, despite the fact I'm a die-hard true AEW fan. But yeah, AEW Revolution sucked. If it was competing against that of this year's WrestleMania, I'd say WrestleMania's got a shot, but come on. That's fucking ridiculous. WrestleMania 38 topping Revolution this year? No. And Matt 87 Eagles states that WrestleMania 38 can't even touch AEW Revolution. Totally agree on that. Miami Heat fan states, don't forget Kevin Owens too. I don't know what I would be forgetting Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens, even staying with this company and re-signing with them was the biggest mistake of his career. And I believe one of my subs actually stated that in the comment section on one of my videos. I think it was for Raw's review for last night. He even stated it was a terrible decision on his part to re-sign. And I totally agree with him on that. Miami Heat fan says, I hope Cesaro don't go to AEW because AEW has too many talent on the roster. He could be utilized in Ring of Honor, actually, Miami Heat fans. So, I mean, that's the benefit of Tony Khan buying out Ring of Honor so that he could get that roster split up and they could have more focus on other another wrestling promotion to get that kind of proper treatment they deserve. Because I really believe he wants to try to get everybody on the card on a weekly basis, at least doing something, making an appearance, performing physically in the ring or something like that. He wants to make sure everybody's getting a piece of the pie and the piece of the action so that they don't feel left out and they're just signed on and eventually let go like yesterday's news and get the same kind of treatment that WWE gave them. They're not trying to do that. They are over flooded with talent. That is the issue. Now, this Ring of Honor thing will definitely resolve that problem. And by having Ring of Honor as another wrestling promotion and actually performing on a weekly basis on a televised show will help them out a lot. It will get more people focused on the AEW brand overall and possibly even make people say, hey, this is too much wrestling. I can't do WWE and AEW with the buyout of Ring of Honor on top of it. I can't keep up with all this. And that's what's going to happen here on this channel. I am not going to, if Ring of Honor gets their own televised deal and they're not just doing bi-monthly pay-per-views or doing just, once in a blue moon pay-per-views or anything like that, and they're just doing weekly televised shows, I'm going to have to say goodbye to WWE on a weekly basis reviews. I will only be doing their pay-per-views month to month. I will not be covering WWE Raw, SmackDown, and on top of it, Ring of Honor, Dynamite, Rampage. I can't do that. I have other things I do on this channel that I'd like to continue to do. I'm noticing the pay-per-view of the week for the second time has already came close to surpassing the video I did last week for the for the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn or New York, I should say. And that it's gotten better. So I'm seeing benefit out of continuing that series pay-per-view of the week. So I'm definitely going to continue to do that since I'm benefiting from that. Let me just take a look here real quick and see what I got. I got 23 views for pay-per-view of the week episode number 2. And the one I did last week only got 27. And that was 8 days. It got 27. This has 22 hours and it's already got 23 views. So bottom line, guys, I mean, it's getting better. So if it continues to do that and it maintains its viewership or it goes even further up, I'm going to continue to do that weekly series. But bottom line, I personally think that WWE has failed us as an audience. They have not put any effort in making the shows good, and they're not going to because they don't really give a shit. That's all there is to it. All right, let me go back here. Daniel says, I hope Owens goes to Japan or Ring of Honor if he leaves WWE. He's not leaving WWE anytime soon. He just recently re-signed with them in January of 2022. He was about to hang it up with WWE, but they offered him, I guess, more money on his contract. I think $3 million he's getting. And they've pretty much left him out. They're doing nothing with him. They paid him all this money for him to do nothing. I mean, like I said, I think Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens winning the Raw Tag Team titles would have been a good idea. And then have Matt Riddle be turned on by Randy Orton and have them face each other at WrestleMania with Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. I think that would have been a better option to go with. You could have Titus and or Otis, I should say. Otis and Chad Gable compete for the Raw Tag Team titles to give them their WrestleMania moment, which would have made sense anyway since they lost the titles. And they did a good job with it. They're entertaining. I mean, Chad Gable's done a good job, but it's just it is what it is, But yeah, I think what they've done with Kevin Owens, even after re-signing him, they've done a terrible job. And Cody, if he does show up, is going to make a terrible mistake with his career. He's He's going to throw it right down the fucking toilet. And the man, I think he's like 38 years old, Cody Rhodes. Let me just check real quick. Give me one sec here. Yeah, Cody's like 36 years old, man. This guy is up there in age. He ain't got much time left. I mean, he's taking good care of himself. I don't know. I haven't heard of him having any major injuries that have kept him out for a very long time. But he's definitely up there in age. And, I mean, he's got maybe, I think about 10 years left, maybe. I think he could last till 46 years old, depending on how well his body holds up for the next 10 years. But working for WWE and the work schedule they have, plus also with the lack of input they're going to put into this, will be it's going to be shit. He's not going to benefit from being with this company. Miami Heat fan says if WWE booked a 6-man ladder match for Ricochet's Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, I'm assuming what's my thoughts on that? I think that would be shit. Like I said, I think it should be Ricochet and Sami Zayn for the IC Championship and in a singles title match, but they're not going to do that anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I think at this point. I've already stated this on multiple occasions, so it's not really going to make a difference. Miami Heat fans also states that wrestling fans are burnt out from watching too many wrestling shows. I have to agree. I think there is way too much wrestling content given to us that we can't even keep up with it. I mean, you can live and breathe wrestling until you're dead in the face. I mean, I really can't keep up with all of it. I'm trying to follow Impact Wrestling, plus do these reviews, do these live televised shows. By the way, I may be taking a break from Random Wrestling Talk next week. I may do episode number 10 2 weeks from now. So I'll definitely give you guys a heads up if we're doing this next week or not. But yeah, I'm really getting burnt out my own self between working 8 to 10 hours a day at work. And on top of that, trying to do this is really a pain in the ass. And not to mention, I do things on FanDuel. I like to do fantasy sports and try to win some extra cash. And that entails a lot of my time as well. I have to do a lot of research on the specific players that I pick for my lineup. You have to use optimal lineups and check everything that's going on there. So with all that together and doing my research on FanDuel and doing as much as I can with these articles, which I can't really do. I won't lie. I utilize the higher end YouTuber creators here on YouTube to get my information, and then I just research it to that article so I have it as my own. But I won't lie. I cannot research all this wrestling article behind the scenes news and do everything else that I do. It is completely and utterly impossible. I do this for free, guys. So, say I'm a cheater, do whatever you want. I don't care, man. This is very hard to do. If you try to do 8 to 10 hours of work every single day, go ahead and watch wrestling content, review it. Also, look at all the fucking articles that are going on. Do what I do in my spare time, which is FanDuel. You will break down and go, I can't do this anymore. I got to cut some of this stuff out. So, bottom line, of course, I'm not going to cut out FanDuel. That helps me win some extra cash. But to do all this other stuff, like some of these episodes I'm doing on a weekly basis, I may not do. I may take it off for that 1 week, possibly. I'm not sure yet. I would like to continue this. And with things being the way they are, this has been successful as well. This weekly live stream has been working out very well. People are interested in it. Not everyone is coming on here when it's live, but I mean, people are actually tuning in and are interested in my my opinions. And you guys being able to talk here on the channel is another good thing. So that's another reason why I do Random Wrestling Talk, because it allows you guys to voice your opinions and be heard here on this channel, which you don't get from any of the YouTubers out there. If anything, you have to pay for someone to say what you said, to mention anything that you said in the chat. So, and thankfully, this is a small channel. I won't lie. I actually like being a small channel. I don't mind being a small channel because I get to read off everyone's, opinions, and nobody has to pay anything to be able to talk with me. I think that's a really fair deal to everybody. Matty7 Eagle, he says, now if only WWE gives us RK Bro versus the Usos in a title for title match. It ain't happening, man. It ain't gonna fucking happen. It ain't happening. Ever. Daniel says, I'm pissed that WWE 2K22 gives us Braun Strowman, but not The Fiend, because I love Bray's work. Of course they're not going to put Bray Wyatt in the fucking game. They would love to piss off people who are fans of Bray Wyatt. Are you kidding? I feel like releasing Wyatt was a huge middle finger for us, to us fans. Absolutely. Are you kidding? He was the fucking face of the company. A damn face. That should have been utilized as a major attraction, and he was treated like dirt at the end of his time. An RKO by fucking Randy Orton. One RKO ends him. Ends the match at WrestleMania 37. The biggest. That was probably as low as Bret Hart's screw job in Montreal in 1997 Survivor Series. Really. I mean, that reminded me of a Montreal screw job. Only thing is, it was part of the actual match. It was supposed to happen that way. But still, I mean, that's just like saying, fuck you, Bray Wyatt. We don't care what you think. Miami Heat fan says that Ben Simmons deserves a tribute video on Philly or not. I can't stand Ben Simmons from the formerly part of the Philadelphia 76ers, now on the Nets, and he hasn't done nothing for Brooklyn. Brooklyn is suffering terribly. I even used Kevin Durant in my my lineup tonight for basketball, and Kevin Durant isn't doing shit. I think Kyrie Irving is doing most of the scoring along with Bruce Brown, which is kind of weird. Let me take a look at this real quick. One sec. Shit. Yeah, Kevin Durant. Holy shit, man. Kevin Durant, it's in the fourth quarter. The win in 131-116 against the Charlotte Hornets. And Kevin Durant's only scored 14 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and had 5 turnovers. Motherfucker. I had him on my damn lineup, and he sucked ass. Damn, I should have traded him in for somebody else. I never trust him. Every time I have him in my lineup, I'm always doing shitty. Yeah, that's really terrible. I hate that. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much that, guys. I mean, it's a rough thing to do, this FanDuel stuff. I usually play beat the score, because every time I play against somebody, which is what I'm doing tonight, I'm always losing when it comes to when I play with money. When I do it for free, I always seem to beat somebody. But when I play for money, someone always seems to get a better lineup than I do. Miami Heat fan says, I hate the play in tournament. Yeah, I hate it too. I mean, like, I've done 5-cent bets in FanDuel. This is funny. I'm talking about fucking FanDuel, and this is a wrestling channel. Going a little off basis here. We'll get right back to the wrestling content in just a little bit, but since Miami Heat fans likes talking about the FanDuel with me a little bit, I'll talk about it. Yeah, I did a 5-cent bet a couple of times with NBA, and I'm never successful with that. You literally have to average about 315 overall fantasy points with your lineup just to even make like 10 cents to get double your money. So, I mean, I've tried it. It is extremely hard. And I don't want to waste my time trying to play that shit. It is fucking difficult to sell. Well, I would recommend to you guys is playing Beat the Score with NASCAR. NASCAR is a lot of fun to do, and you only have to worry about 40 people playing. For the fact that it's lower probability. You don't have to worry about so many different players involved. There's like 40 drivers. You pick 5 of them, and that's it. And you can win some good money. I did that with Beat the Score, and I doubled my money. So, I mean, that's a hell of a win right there. And you only have to worry about beating the score that they require you to beat to earn money. So I think that's a great deal. Football and basketball, you usually break even. You don't lose your money depending on how bad you did with your lineup. If you did really bad, sorry to you, man. You just fucked up and wasted your money for no reason. But it is what it is. Daniel, thank you, good man. I appreciate the comment, man. I'll go ahead and read it. You deserve people's respect. You also deserve more subs than you have right now because you're one of the only people who are very honest about wrestling in general. Hashtag WOW for life. I appreciate it, man, Daniel. I appreciate you commenting here on the channel. I know I'm not the best talker in the world, but I deliver the truth. And that's what Daniel is saying. I tell the truth with you guys. I'm not the greatest reviewer either. I won't even admit that. I won't admit I'm the best of the best when it comes to giving you play-by-play of everything that happens. I listen to JD's channel. I listen to BC Amplified. They do a great job with that. What I deliver is the overall basis of what direction the company is going. And I have been saying this before the fucking news articles have broken out that WWE was looking to sell. And they've openly admitted it. They've openly admitted this months ago, that they are open for business if somebody offers the proper, they offer the right amount of money. They'll be willing to take it. So it's all a matter of time. It's all a matter of when they start losing out on their other venues that they're getting revenue from, such as TV deals, Saudi Arabia, Peacock with their WWE Network content, all of that. I think after Peacock gets done with their agreement with WWE, I think WWE is going to be done with Peacock. And I think WWE is also going to be done with being its own entity. I think somebody else is going to own the rights of WWE. They may even do that beforehand. Who the hell knows? But that's the bottom line, guys, because that's what World of Wrestling has to say at this time. Little altercation there since we are talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin earlier in this video. But yeah, guys, I personally am happy for Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm glad he is not going to wrestle for this fucking god-awful company. And why should he, man? The last image that we should have is the image of him wrestling The Rock. One of the best rivals he's ever had in his entire career, outside of Vince McMahon. And I mean, come on. That's the best thing he should do. And that's the only thing he should have ended up retiring with is that match alone. So that's all I have to say, guys. If you guys have any other comments you'd like to say it now before I close up shop here with this video for Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 9. If you guys would like to say anything else, I'll give you guys a few moments to say something so I can read it off. If not, I'm going to hang up right now at this point and call it a day. Anybody, any takers, anyone want to leave a comment in the chat? Anybody? All right. Well, since there are no comments being made in the chat, everybody seems to be pretty much done with what they have to say here. I'm going to go ahead and close out here. I'd like to take the time to thank you all for tuning in. For the ones that are going to tune in after this video is already completed, thank you for watching the entire video. And hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow for Wednesday's Dynamite. Bye.